Welcome back, everybody. It is another edition of A New Guitar Day, and as you can see on the box, this is a Gretsch. I'm going to zoom in here because this box had some fairly substantial damage. We're hoping that it does not extend into the guitar. I'm thinking it probably won't, but it certainly could. I had FedEx take a picture of this and document it. So if in fact there is some serious damage, we will have documentation. Yes, we have documented. So, this is sort of a different setup on a box. This is like a coffin box. Instead of opening up on one end, the whole lid pulls off. This is a Gretsch guitar, as you can tell by the box, and this is from Pro Audio Star. And I think I mentioned it in a couple other videos that Pro Audio Star actually has two warehouses now. They have their warehouse in, I think it's Winchester, Virginia, for their New York store. And then they have a West Coast warehouse in Reno, Nevada. So that's where this guitar came from. And this is a Gretsch. This is an Electromatic. This is a G5655TG. The T's for the tremolo, the G's for the gold. And this is in single barrel burst. And this guitar was sold as used, which is why they have these really bargain prices on the guitar. I think it's just their way to bail out on the MAP prices, and so they can clean their warehouses. So we're going to just pop this out and take a quick look. Our most important thing at this moment is just to see if there was any damage of note. These are pretty robust boxes, but I wish that FedEx would, and UPS wouldn't do their typical let's beat up the guitar. Okay, so initial inspection, it looks like it's fine. The warranty, as you can see, got torn. Pull that up. It does look very pretty. Wiring sort of shady looking. Gretsch, we expect more from you. Flip it over. Okay, so immediate inspection. I see absolutely no issues. So whatever happened to the box does not seem like it had any impact on the guitar. But that's just an initial inspection. Thread-ins feel much better than the other ones. A new bone nut, whatever that means. The action looks reasonable. So there you go. Let's just gaze upon the beauty for a moment, and then I'm going to go have lunch, and we will come back in the afternoon and give this thing a whirl. We'll weigh it and do all that stuff. But I just thought it was important to crack the box open just because that box did look pretty. And of course this thing's already loose, so we're going to make sure we tighten that up. Alright, so there you go. So we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. It is now going on 5 o'clock. And this is again Friday, July the 5th, 2024. Another edition of Unboxing a New Guitar. And this one is the Gretsch 5655TG. T for tremolo. G for the golden hardware, which again I'm not a huge fan of for a couple reasons. I'm not really a bling, but on this sunburst it actually looks quite nice. The biggest problem is that it's probably less than a micron thick, and the wear on it will be very quick. So enjoy it while it's there, because this is really thin gold. Overall, this is a really nice guitar. Being the cheapskate that I am, I certainly wouldn't spend $8.99 on it. I don't think anyone buys it for $8.99. Musician's Friend has a couple on sale right now, different colors, for $6.99. That's getting in a reasonable space. But it is a really nice guitar. The one reason why I bought this guitar is because it's the smaller bodied guitar, and I really like that. It feels great. The fit and the finish is really nice. There's two minor issues on this guitar, really minor. One which is just a nitpick, but for a guitar in this price range, you shouldn't be able to see the wires. You just shouldn't. Someone should have wire tied those out of the way. And the Gretsch strap lock, the post and the body is stripped, so you can't tighten it. That's probably an easy fix, but I'm going to contact the people that sold the guitar to me just to make sure that if I do attempt to fix it and screw it up even worse, that doesn't void my ability to return it. Not that I would return it for such a thing, and it probably is a really easy fix, but again, it's those tiny details. But other than that, they checked all the boxes. I will say that on the Electromatic series, at least on this particular guitar, the hardware does seem to be a step up. The switch feels more solid. The potentiometers do more. On the Streamliners, they tend to be on and off switches. The tuners seem to be of a better grade, although they do use on this particular guitar, they call it a new bone nut, which is still synthetic, but I guess it's a higher form of synthetic. On the G5420, they claim it's a real bone nut. Now, again, what does that mean? What kind of bone? A cow bone? I don't know. These details don't make much difference to me at all. But anyways, fit and finish on this guitar, very nice. Stretch the strings a couple times. I don't use the Bigsby, but it's sort of a sweet-looking steampunk style tailpiece. I'm sure when I restring this, I'm probably going to restring it above the bar, just because that sounds interesting to me. The spring that they put on these is incredibly tight, so it's just, yeah. But yeah, very impressed. Now I will come back in a week, unless for some reason when I mention the strap button, they say the only thing you can do is return it, and then I'll make a decision about that. But I have a feeling in a week I'll be back. I don't love the fingerboard on this guitar as much. It's sort of a little bit lighter. But again, these are all superficial, visual. The sound of this guitar, very nice, feels great. Unlike the previous two Gretsches, they got the fret ends on this perfect. Nothing needs to be done. The G5655P90 had some rough fret ends, and the Rally 2, which is the G2604, it also needed a little bit of filing work, but this does not. This is absolutely smooth. The output jack was a little loose. I'm in the habit of checking these now, because if you don't check them, the tendency for it to just go poof and fall through definitely goes up. So yeah, it's something that you should check every once in a while. The best time to check it is when you put your cord in and just go back and forth a little bit and you can feel it, and then that's the time to just stop. I will put some clear fingernail polish on the edge of this thing to just sort of stop it from doing that. So yeah, other than that, very pleased, very impressed, nice guitar. This was a FOMO guitar. Fear of missing out. So when I saw that this guitar, listed at the MAP price was $8.99, and Pro Audio Star had them at $5.09, and I thought about it for a week, maybe a week and a half, and then finally they kicked the price up to like $6.70 or something, which still would be a fair deal, but I'm cheap. and they had made me an offer on Reverb because I had it in my cart, and they made me an offer of $512, which was $3 more than they were selling it on their website. And I let it expire, and then they raised the price, and then fear of missing out kicked in. So I emailed them and said, you want to cut me a break? I didn't accept your offer. I just let it expire, and you've raised the price now. But what do you think? Can you sell it to me for $512? And they wrote right back and said, sure. So whoosh. And then I started having buyer's remorse again, because the majority of my guitars are $200 and less. And it's the rule of diminishing returns. So now this guitar is $512, and it is really nice. But how much nicer is it than my $200 guitars? And the answer is probably not $200, $300 nicer. But everyone should have a nice guitar. And again, for the people who are buying Gibsons and American-made Gretsches and American-made Fenders, they're laughing. This is a budget guitar still. But there's budget, and then there's sub-budget, and I've been living in the sub-budget world and having a good time. And again, when you're just an at-home player, your standard for what you need a guitar to do just is in a different zone. Because the thing that would be the weak spot on all of these guitars, if you were a working musician, is just how robust would the hardware be. And on a professional model guitar, you at least hope that they're giving you hardware, potentiometers, tuners, output jacks, strap buttons, just that are going to stand up to being played a lot, in a live environment. But when you're sitting on your chair at home in the living room and you take it easy, there's no reason why these guitars shouldn't last a lifetime. Whether they do or not, I don't know. I have a Grote jazz guitar, and the case in point, the tone potentiometer is going out on it, and it's only like 3 years old. So that, again, that's what happens with cheap hardware, is it just doesn't have that solid. But anyways, for the moment, I'm really glad I got this guitar. It's a very nice guitar. If you're able, if your budget allows, and you can get one of these in the $500 to $600 range, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. Because again, the quality's there, the QC's there. I don't see any finish issues, or everything's put in straight, and it just looks good. And these pickups are nice. They're, I don't know, Gretsch has a million names. These are blacktop Biltrons or Broadtrons, or their marketing department was very creative when it came to giving their pickups these amazing names. But yeah, it's a nice guitar. And I was going to weigh it, so let me do that real quick. I will be right back. So it came in at 7 pounds even, which is, for me, that's an ideal weight for a guitar. 7 to 7.5, or down to 6.5. But 7 pounds is a nice, and it feels solid. And keep in mind that Bigsby is a good 10, 11 ounces. So if it didn't have a Bigsby on it, it would be a 6-pound guitar, which would be just fine with me. And if I could have my way, I would wave my hand, and I would make the gold hardware disappear, and I would make the Bigsby disappear, and I would put a nice, unusual, maybe like the Streamliner tailpiece, trapeze tailpiece. Anyways, we'll be back in a week or so, depending on circumstances. I've said it 1,000 times, so don't believe anything I say. This should be the last new guitar day for a while, because honestly, I'm quite full house, lots of guitars, very satisfied, happy guy. 10 more down in the basement, a couple in the closet. Yes, I need an intervention, but it's harmless. And again, this is the third most expensive guitar I've purchased in my second life as a guitar player. A couple years ago, I bought the Joe Bonamassa Lazarus 59 Les Paul, which was more than this, and I also bought the 59 inspired by Epiphone Les Paul and it was more than this. 35, 40 years ago when I was a semi-amateur musician, $500 was nothing. But, you know, you also didn't have made in China Gretsches, and you didn't have made in Indonesia Squires and Fenders, and, you know, but my first guitar that I bought would have been electric guitar would have been 1977, and it was his 1977 Fender Stratocaster back when life was simple. Fender had Stratocasters and Telecasters, and at that point they had Jazzmasters, but still, you know, they had like literally one version of a Stratocaster, and it was used with a case, barely used, for $300, and I didn't like that guitar, and I traded it to the music store for I don't know what year it was, but it would have been in the 70s, a Gibson ES335 with a hard shell case, factory Gibson case, straight across, $300. And that seemed like a lot of money then. So it's all relative. Minimum wage was a lot less. But these import guitars are really something to behold. Yeah, so no matter how you feel about them, if you're looking for a decent guitar and you don't want to spend $3,500 for a American-made Gretsch, but you want that sort of Gretsch groovy, that vibe, here you go. So we will be back. Thank you so much. Ooh, welcome back, everybody. It is July the 11th, 2024. We've had this guitar now for 6 days. As a reminder, this is the Gretsch G5655T as in tremolo, G as in gold, in what they call single barrel burst. And yeah, just a quick review because another guitar is coming in tomorrow. Just can't stop myself. The prices on these Gretsch guitars at Pro Audio Star are just too tempting. And life is short, and as you grow older, it gets even shorter. So I say, if you have the resources, especially when you're in the budget guitar realm, although this is sort of stretching the limits of the budget guitar. I like to think of a budget guitar as $300 or less. Many of my guitars are $200 or less, and $5, $6, $7, or $100 or less. And we'll get into that in a moment. But anyways, this was shipped to me for just a little over $500. The MAP price is $900. I don't know if anyone pays $900. I don't think I would have paid $900 for this guitar, but you know, it's certainly a quality guitar. I probably mentioned most of everything in our last time together, but I'd just like to put a period at the end of the sentence. And it's also more reassuring after having played this guitar for, you know, probably 4 or 5 hours a day for the last 6 days. I really like this guitar. It's really a nice guitar. It's a quality guitar. It's an import, but the quality control, because Fender Musical Instrument Corporation, or whatever FMIC stands for, who basically handles this for Gretsch, does a great job in their QC department. They only drop the ball on one tiny thing, and that's the freaking wiring through the F-hole, which I have cheap guitars and you don't see the wiring. But I guess a little bit of pushing and manipulation, we can make it go away. I wouldn't have chosen the guitar with gold hardware, although it looks beautiful. So there you go. Plays nice, sounds nice, feels good. I wouldn't have chosen another guitar with a Bigsby. I'm trying to figure out if I can just take the handle off. I don't see how I can, but I'm going to investigate, because I'll never use it. I do sort of dig the big Mondo heavy-duty tailpiece. As I mentioned last time, it has sort of a steampunk vibe to it. I would not remove the Bigsby, and if I restring it, I'm probably going to go over the tension bar for no reason other than why not. Again, the quality of the guitar, very nice. The tuners on the Electromatic series, I think, are an upgrade from the Streamliner. They feel more solid, more, yes. You know, my major complaint is no jack plate. That bites. Metal knobs are very Gretschy. The Streamliners have the plastic knobs. Again, does any of that matter? This guitar has the bound F-holes, purely cosmetic. I'm guessing that the Gretsch on the headstock looks like it's inlaid, but that might just be an illusion. It has a new bone nut. I don't notice any difference at all, but that's, neither here nor there. But it's a very nice guitar, and I do highly recommend it. Anyone who's thinking about dipping their toes into the world of Gretsch, go to Pro Audio Star. I don't know how they do it, but all of their wink used guitars are brand spanking new. The box has been opened. I think maybe they do that from a legal point of view. Just maybe someone even pulls the guitar out of the box and puts it right back in. But this guitar couldn't be any more new. And every one that I've gotten from them, whether it be an open box, and I'm not sure why, some of them are called open box and some are called used, and they both show up in there by anything that I can see brand new. And certainly more brand new than a brand new guitar that you would get in a music store that had been handled and played by a bunch of people who knows if they even bothered to wash their hands. So again, and the shipping is free. Woo-hoo! Yeah, I've got a guitar right now that's on quite an adventure. Pro Audio Star has two warehouses, one back in, I think it's Winchester, maybe it's Westchester, but maybe it's Winchester, Virginia, and then they've got one in Reno, Nevada. And being in Montana, it's nice if I get it from the Reno, Nevada, although they keep dropping the ball. So the guitar that I've got coming left, I guess they go to Sparks. Sparks is a suburb or a little town that used to be next to Reno, and then Reno grew and swallowed Sparks. I don't know how it works. They say it starts in Reno, but then when they ship it, it says it's coming from Sparks. Anyways, it leaves Sparks, Nevada, and it goes west to Sacramento. Like wrong direction, FedEx. Sits in Sacramento for 24 hours, then it turns around and it comes back. I don't know how. I'm assuming it comes, the Highway 80, I think, is the interstate that goes back to the east. Theoretically, you think it would end up in Salt Lake City before it makes a hard left turn and goes to the north up to me. But it ended up in some small, out-of-the-way place. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's in the middle of nowhere in Utah, 150 miles away from Salt Lake City. Supposedly it left there this morning, so we'll see if it gets here. It's no big deal. As long as it gets here eventually, but you know it's being totally cooked because of the temperature everywhere, which, by the way, it is fully summer. It was 99 yesterday. I think we're hitting 99 or 100 today. But yeah, for the middle of July, what would one expect? But back to the matter at hand, which is this guitar. It's a very nice guitar. Will I keep it? I never know. It always takes me a couple months of playing guitar before I finally go, yeah, this one made it over the hump. It's staying in the keep list. It's funny how some of the guitars that are on my keep list are $95 Squire Bullets. I just really like them. I've got a couple that I bought 7 years ago that they've never left my hands. And this now is my most expensive guitar that I currently have. Next in line would be the Epiphone Casino Coupe. And it's in the $380 category. And then I don't think I have anything else above $300. So I'm quite happy in the budget guitar universe, as Jojo Schmo calls it on his Budget Guitar Universe Facebook page. But I am a sucker once in a while for stepping to the edges, the outer edges, maybe leaving the budget universe. And that was this guitar. I definitely stepped out of the budget guitar universe. But really happy that I got it. So, that's about all I have to say. We will be back tomorrow with another guitar. It's another Gretsch. Just a few minor differences from other ones that I own at this point. Yeah. And I don't think I'm going to ever get another Electromatic, not because there's anything wrong with them, but the streamliners are more than adequate, again, for what I'm doing. So, thank you for joining us again. It is July the 11th, 2024. Summer's officially here, and we will be back tomorrow.